And we are moving on to the, like I said, largely forgotten Cherry Files from 2000, in which a small town of Cherry Falls, Virginia has a psychotic murder going around killing off virgins from the local high school. And of course this causes concern amongst the parents, and it makes other kids happy because they get to try to not be virgins, and it's good times. This is, like I said earlier, one of those post-Scream slashes that sort of disappeared over the years. It did help that this did have a theatrical release in the US, to my understanding. I always found it a pretty okay movie. I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times before, and even after watching it again, though I see there's certainly some issues with it, I still prefer it over maybe some higher budget late 90s slashes such as, I don't know, let's say Urban Legend. So I think this movie certainly has some decent things in it. Have you seen this one before, or is this like a first time watch for you, Chucky?
No, it's a first time watch. I'm very well aware of the movie title. Like, I used to see it in all the DVD bargain bins back when DVD was, the only real format that you could go out and buy. But yeah, I never really knew much about what the movie was or what it was about. And I think somewhat recently, in the past year or two, I've been seeing articles, from places like Bloody Disgusting usually does this thing where they drag up some sort of older movie that no one really talks about anymore, and they're like, oh, this is an underrated movie and stuff, and usually they're just pulling out some piece of shit movie and just calling it underrated because they need to meet their quota of shitty articles for the week. But yeah, I mean, this is, look, it's okay. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's it's a 2000 slasher movie. It's it certainly looks like a budget version of something like Scream. The funny thing is, I'm not someone who usually tries to guess who the killer is, and even in those instances where I do try to guess, I often get it wrong. But this one, I guessed like 10 minutes into the movie, and it was so easy. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but they just show this person way too much for such an insignificant role in the movie that, well, I would have assumed would have been an insignificant part of the movie. But, shit happens.
Did it remind you of your high school days, by the way?
No. In fact, oh man. Would I have loved high school days where they have a fucking sex orgy?
Yeah, that's certainly an interesting development.
And it's pretty fucked up that they're just like, let's have a sex orgy so we don't die.
Yeah. I sort of like the principle is like, hey guys, I hear this is wild party going to be happening. I'll punish anybody who goes. Like, I highly doubt that's going to stop most people from going to such an exciting occasion. Especially given what we learn about what his character does anyway, so.
I mean, it's kind of cool, though, that the killer interrupts the sex orgy and starts, trying to kill people, but...
Yes, and actually on a related topic, that sex orgy was one of the tamest sex orgies I've seen in my life. It's like, there's practically no nudity. You see a lot of women in skimpy underwear, but there's like virtually no nudity, and though this movie has like a tiny scene of nudity, you can definitely tell it has a very cut back tame feel, and I think that's largely due to some arguments with the MPAA when this came out.
I kept thinking, and I think it was like in the flashback where they show that flashback Laura Lee scene, and I kept thinking from Scream when Matthew Lillard's character is saying something like when they're watching Halloween, when are we gonna see Jamie Lee's breasts? And I'm just thinking the same thing. When are we gonna see Laura Lee's breasts? And we don't get to see them, so.
I'm sure it's probably one of the most disappointing moments of your recent movie watching career.
Took it down 1 rating. Yeah. I guess I could say that I did enjoy some of the stupid teenage banter especially earlier in the movie. Like there's some funny lines of dialogue and things like that. But yeah, it's okay. It's certainly not as good as Scream. I mean, maybe some of the sequels, but not the original.
Yes.
Yes. I guess the only other thing that I wanted to mention was I found it really, well, it was pretty funny that that meeting with the parents turned into a brawl so quickly. That was funny.
Your daughter has nothing to worry about. Some sly people going to that thing.
I kind of get why they're bringing it up, but at the same time, I mean, what did you really expect to get out of the meeting? It's just like immediately, like they say, so what do you want us to do? Tell our kids to go out and fuck?
Well, I did like, I think it was the principal talking to the police officer, hey, there's going to be like a lot of, teens having sex. It's like, well, it's better than a pile of dead bodies. So, hey, I guess between those two choices, promiscuous sex is definitely the way to go. Got that cliche speech though by the that one chick who's talking about how men just never trust a man to do anything when it comes to sex. That's a good time.
I mean, what a whore. You're in high school and you're speaking from experience.
Yeah, that scene actually reminded me of something you might see in American Pie or something, which is a lot of how this movie actually feels, like one of the low-budget DVD rip-offs.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things that I sort of enjoy about this one is the mystery behind, well, who the killer is and the killer's connection to other people in town. It has elements of almost a Nightmare on Elm Street conspiracy type thing, and I think it's interesting, even though I don't think it's necessarily handled correctly. Like at the end when the FBI is talking to the survivors and they just hide the whole thing, which is not really, it's pretty much how the thing started to begin with. So I'm not sure if that's the right message, but that's all I have.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell from all the different attacking scenes in the movie that it was a dude. If you couldn't tell from the opening scene, you could definitely tell from the scene where he's attacking Brittany Murphy's character.
Speaking of which, what a beautiful character. She did have the decently cute look to her, so I was okay seeing Brittany Murphy here.
Yes. So
this is a movie that I have, I guess maybe some nostalgic value to. Even though it's not perfect. For instance, think about the ending. Like, it's just some metaphorical water turned into blood. It was hideous looking. So this movie has flaws, but I've always sort of liked it. So I'm going to give this one right now a 7.5, which is just above average for me, but I'm going to round that down to a 7 out of 10.
I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's, you can compare it to the Scream movies, I guess. It's similar type thing, high school slasher, blah 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 blah. But obviously not done as well. Characters throughout the movie aren't as interesting as you'd see in like a Scream. But it was okay. So yeah, 6 out of 10. It's I'll probably watch it again at some point, maybe 5-10 years down the line, but I'm certainly not rushing to go back to this one anytime soon.
But why would you wear lipstick? Because it makes you look pretty.
That's sexy.
I was okay with seeing the actor in lipstick.
Because you find him attractive?
Hey, that was certainly a decent looking actor. No matter what your sexuality is.